Hey everybody, it's time for more Alienated. I hope you're enjoying the story so far. We are now up to chapter 36. Now, if you're coming to this video for the very first time, if you've just stumbled upon it, definitely start at the beginning of the playlist and all will make sense. Otherwise, for sure, you're going to be very confused. Who is this guy? What is he talking about? Aliens, high school, end of the world? I don't understand. So start at the beginning. Also, hit subscribe. If you're enjoying this, make sure you hit subscribe, and that way more chapters will come to you. I know we're almost at the end of the book, but there's still some really good stuff here to come. Before we crack on, as always, a shout out. Usually I do a shout out to a young fan or a reader who's reading along with me. This is a little bit different because this weekend is a really cool thing going on here in the UK called the Big Book Weekend, and it's organized by a fellow author, an incredible writer called Molly Flatt. And so today's shout out goes out to Molly for putting together a virtual book fest across all the UK with some amazing stuff going on. So make sure you check it out. You just check out the hashtag Big Book Weekend and you'll see all sorts of amazing things happening. So let's crack on. This is chapter 36, Escape from Planet Earth. I couldn't tell which way was up. Just an instant ago, my shoes had been squeaking on concrete, and now they were sliding around a kind of giant slithery catcher's mitt made of tentacles. I know it's cheating, buddy, Octo said, but I had to do something. As relieved as I was to be out of prison, I did feel a little cheated. That was disappointing, Octo asked, putting me down on the floor of what appeared to be public toilets. You were expecting a thrill-powered ride through swirly-whirly vortex, right? I could hear a cheesy love ballad bellowing in the background. I looked around, trying to get my bearings. Don't think I'm not grateful, because I am, but where are we? You shifted about half a mile, dude, Octo said. Houston appeared from behind the venti tent, dressed as a merchant seaman and hauling the Aldrin suit's steel trunk. This is the gymnasium's male biological evacuation chamber, he said. Of course, school, I said, finally recognizing the toilets as the ones attached to the locker room. We didn't want to draw attention to ourselves in case the cops were watching us, said Octo, so we figured the can was the best place to hide. You know it's only girls who go to the bathroom in pairs on this planet, right? That's crazy, said Octo. It's way more fun to pee in pairs. I prefer to change my oil in private, said Houston. The venti tent peeled the bracelet off the graffitied tiles, shrinking it back to size and slipping it onto the tip of his bare tentacle. Don't you need the other one? I asked. Nah, if we collapse one side, it collapses the whole wormhole, he explained. It takes two to tango. Suddenly, the love ballad was drowned out by an air raid siren. For a moment, I thought maybe it was Monday at 10 o'clock and everything that had happened since I'd first arrived at Groom Lake had just been a dream. But dreams rarely smell of the boys' locker room. It's the Neds, I said. They're here. We've got to get Juliet back. Only she can stop this. Octo, can you zap us to the Ned world? If there was a corresponding bracelet already there, then yeah, he said. I could zip us there straight away. But there's not. So we're stuck, I said. We just gotta take the highway, he said. There's a wormhole highway that runs straight past their planet, but we need to reach the on-ramp. Where's that? I asked. Next to the moon, he said. I looked up, spotted the envious moon glowing down on us. Sherman, do you really think Juliet will come back? Houston asked. I don't know, but I have to try, and I have to tell her how I really feel. Technically, the racer can break orbit, offered Houston. Let's go, I announced. Octo eyeballed me, those big rectangular pupils of his bulging a little, and then he clamped his beaks together, which completely failed to stop the cephalopod guffaw bursting out and echoing all over. Good for you, Romeo, he laughed, opening the toilet door with one of his tentacles. Let's move, metal man. Let's do it for love, baby. We stepped into the gym, and were transported to a scene of science-fictional Victorian destruction, with dancing. 3 giant war machines towered over the dance floor, suspending disco balls that shone stars all over the gym walls. Beneath the tripods, the costumed aliens slow danced to Air Supply, I guess assuming the siren was just part of the War of the Worlds ambience. I suddenly realized Octo was, as always, naked as the day he was spawned. Hey buddy, I said to Octo, no War of the Worlds costume? According to H.G. Wells, I'm already dressed as a Martian. Got it. You think I've got time to ask your sister for a dance? Asked Octo. My sister? I spotted Jessica by the snack table, serving up ripple dough and boxes of popcorn. and decided that if we were going off-world, I'd better take her with us in case my desperate plan failed. Jess, I'm glad I found you. Even as I uttered the words, I couldn't quite believe what I was saying. What's going on, Sherman? As prom committee boss supremo, she had this event choreographed down to the last detail, and her pale face told me she knew the siren wasn't part of the motif. It's the Ned invasion, I said. It's coming, and it's going to destroy the world. Oh my God, Sherman, you ruin everything. Come with us. That's if you ever want to plan another prom. I'm not going anywhere with... Octo scooped her up, pausing her protest until she yelled, "Put me down, you grosser puss!" I grabbed a box of golden popcorn from the snack table and followed Octo into the main hallway, then out into the moonlit steps of Groom Lake High. Up above, a giant fire burned in the night sky. It had to be the Ned ship coming into the atmosphere. "What is that?" whispered Jess. "That's what I've been warning Dad about," I said, "and we've got to stop it." We piled into Octo's Toyota, and he revved us through the chaotic streets of Area 51 to our hangar. Octo had to scale pavements to avoid hitting military vehicles scurrying around the streets. All of the adults had clearly been called into work. "It's Ventitent, not Grossopus," Octo complained. "Not Octopus either. How many more times, people?" Above Groom Lake, the ship stopped burning and finally came into view. It was a massive isosceles triangle, blacking out the stars. "It's reached our atmosphere," I said. Houston focused his optical receptors, scanning the shape. "It's the tanker," he confirmed. "The same one that destroyed my planet. My receptors tell me it's big enough to hold 98.2% of Earth's magma." "I mean," Octo went on, "no matter how cute she is, a gal could try and get a guy's species right, you know?" "Octo," I yelled, "focus!" With a booming, ultra-deep groaning sound that rumbled vibrations in my chest, a massive tube protruded from the belly of the spaceship and telescoped down towards the desert. "What's it doing?" Jess shouted. "That," Houston said gravely, "is the magma extractor." "It's a giant straw, baby cakes," Octo clarified. "Don't call me baby cakes," Jessica said. "And Sherman, does this mean that all that invasion garbage you've been hassling Dad with is true?" 100% true, I said. "And you know what else? The only way we're going to survive is if I win back Juliet." "So we're doomed," Jessica groaned. "Thanks for the encouragement, sis." By the time we reached the hangar, the ground was shaking and sirens were blaring all over the base. I strapped myself into the cockpit and fired up the engine as my crew piled into the cabin, all except Jessica. "Jess," I called over the engines, "get in, please." "I'm not going near that thing," she said. "Can't you just let the Air Force handle this? I'm sure..." A thunderous earthquake shook the hangar, sending tools rattling off the bench, corrugated iron panels crashing from the roof, and Jessica tumbling backwards in her Victorian frock. "Oh, great, I've got dust all over." I could tell that Jessica was really scared because she didn't make a sound, didn't even complain at all when Octo lifted her into the cabin. I guided Carol towards the open door as the girders clanged onto the concrete all around us. I heard the scraping and screeching of tortured metal as the whole building was twisted out of shape behind us. It was now or never. I had to win back Juliet, or there wouldn't be any planet to come home to. "Hit the gas, Romeo," Octo said, strapping himself into his seat. I revved us out of the hangar and lifted us up into the air, just in time to see the hangar collapse from the tremors. Gazing down, something else struck me. Sonia's eggcraft was gone too. My first instinct was relief that at least she was off-planet and would be safe. But then I remembered why she was off-planet. The Balleropera ritual. With Houston's navigation, I aimed for the stars and flashed the boosters. "The wormhole on-ramp is just this side of the moon," said Octo. Houston calculated the trajectory, and I did my best to fly straight. As we soared past the massive tanker, dominating the night sky, it was obvious it had a one-track mind for magma. It took no notice of us at all, and I let out a sigh of relief. We flew past the immense black triangle, on our way to win back the icon who could save the planet from its destruction. Okay, that's chapter 36. Come back next time. Make sure you hit subscribe and you'll get the chapter notification. We'll do chapter 37 next. Hope everybody's enjoying the big book weekend. Stay in, stay safe, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. See you soon.